But what hasn't been fun and what has started early is what the Blackhawks are doing. And it isn't the absolute garbage of nonsense that they put themselves in just a week ago on our last episode. If you want to hear our thoughts on the sex scandal that came from this organization, but they made a move. Jeremy Colliton is out of the head man's job. One of the other casualties of this nonsense. This one much more on the ice. I'm not going to pretend here and say I can tell you all the X's and O's. I'm going to throw it to Marver, and then Paulie, I want your 2 cents on this one. What do you guys think about the firing of the head man of the Blackhawks, Marver?
Well, I think that at 1-9-2, the worst start in team history, speaks for itself. I mean, he replaced, when he replaced Quenneville, I thought that was a bad move. It's too bad as things turned out, they can't bring back Quenneville, but that's another subject. In any event, the team seemed to have more talent than I thought they were going to start out pretty well because they got that Vegas goalie who somehow got them, Fleury, who got them to the NHL finals in the first year of the existence of the Golden Knights. And Taves is back, so I thought that would spark them a bit. And they got Jones as a quality player and his brother. So it just surprised me that they had such a bad start. And whether it's the coach or not, that's the casualty. And now they got the Rockford coach for the time being. But it seemed like a proper move at 1-9-2 to me. I mean, obviously the record speaks for itself.
Paulie?
Yeah, I agree with Marver completely that the bad start this season, you had to eventually fire Jeremy Colliton. And at the time I understood the move. It was like 3 years to the day that he got fired is when he got hired in the wake of Joel Quenneville getting fired. It seemed weird in hindsight that Quenneville would be fired that quick into the season. I mean, you're talking about one of the all-time greatest coaches in terms of what he's done on the ice. Now we know a little bit more, but I don't think that had anything to do with his firing 3 years ago. But Jeremy Colliton was supposed to bring in the youth movement, based on his experience from the Rockford Ice Hogs and what that was supposed to mean to this team and what he knew about this talent coming up. He was supposed to get them to the next level, and they really didn't have any success. The only reason they made the playoffs was because of the pandemic shortened season and that weird bubble where they were in like a play-in round that they happened to get past, but just fell apart once they faced tougher teams. I think they lost to Vegas, if I remember correctly, in the pandemic playoffs. But either way, it was long overdue. This is a franchise that could really blow it up and start over. And prime opportunity. They bring in Marc-Andre Fleury in the net. He doesn't seem to be enjoying his time in Chicago. And this was even before the season started. I think I saw a power rankings at the start of the season that had the Blackhawks in the top 10. And even though I don't follow the NHL that closely, that was a joke to me. I didn't see it with this team. I know that there's certain elements of talent on this team, but there were many question marks. And now, given some of the adversity that they've faced from their past coming back to haunt them, and given the fact that what they were trying to put together on the ice just has completely not worked, I think, and then the fact that their general manager is gone that kind of put together this team, I think now you have a real opportunity to start, putting together trades to get rid of some of the guys like Marc-Andre Fleury. There are teams that are clamoring for his talents, so you might as well do something about that. I'm not sure how much Patrick Kane has left or Jonathan Taves has left in terms of their contracts, but knowing what we know about them now and how, they didn't really do anything at the time to help, the Black Ace that came up, Kyle Beach from the 2010 championship year, maybe it's time to cut ties with those guys. I know that there's loyalty and you don't want to see these guys playing in different uniforms, but these guys have been around the league for a long time, and I don't think that they're going to be playing for a long time. Sure, you sit there and hope that Pat Kane breaks milestones in a Blackhawks uniform, but at the same time, maybe you can get some good quality talent to start getting yourself back to the playoffs a little bit quicker than you would have if you just maintained this route.
I'm glad you mentioned that. We are definitely going to be keeping our ears to the ground to see what happens to Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane, if there's going to just be a complete rebuild, and what this franchise does moving forward with all the things that they are now juggling. And we'll be covering here on the Sports Cubicle, but let us know your thoughts on the firing. Do you think it was long overdue? We're on Twitter at the Sports Cubicle TV.